It's your boy G, along with Alec. Another great episode. Thank you for tuning in here to the show. Continue to follow us on Alec Sports Report. A lot of fun stuff going on here and all our pages as well. Appreciate all the tuning as you guys do. Going to continue to deep dive all stuff going on across LA. We'll be in studio other times as we showed before. I'm excited to continue to build on that. Right now we have a lot of stuff going on for the holidays. Everybody does, so we're bouncing around the city as we do, but we'll still find ways to continue bringing content to you guys however we can. So excited for all that on the way and jumping straight into it. This week we're here ahead of week 13. Chargers just came off of a tough loss to the Ravens on the night, I believe that was. And yeah, just disappointing loss, and now come up against the Patriots this week, which should be a great bounce back for them. But there were a couple times now where we've had the chance to bounce back, and they fold it yet again. So deep dive more into it. What are your just broad thoughts about this game coming up on Sunday? Yeah,
broad thoughts. It's a game that the Chargers definitely should win. The Patriots have looked like one of the worst teams in the league. They just got bested by your boy Danny, or not? I was Danny DeVito.
I appreciate it, but no.
Tommy DeVito. They just got DeVito'd last week. So I think they're sitting at 2 wins, correct? Like 2-9, something like that.
2-9, correct.
So this is definitely one of those Chargers games where they should trick themselves into believing that they are a good team and dominate in a wire-to-wire win, but I'm not confident that it's going to turn out that way. I mean, they're going up against Belichick. He likes to take away the opponent's best player, and he likes to make it hard on younger quarterbacks. Although Justin Herbert is not like some other young QBs, but it might be more of a challenge than it should be. But I'm still expecting the Chargers to win this game.
They definitely should win this game. We've gone to games, as we said before, where we had expectations of a W, and I definitely do agree that they should get the job done. But we do understand that even with a depleted Patriots roster that they have, that at times against us, who we don't tend to separate as we should, that the game is still up in the air, and we'll see how they execute on Sunday. So again, we're very interesting to see how things go. Folks have been, before we even get more into the two coaches here, have been talking. We mentioned the Raven game last week. People have been frustrated with Austin Eckler and others on the squad to our point, underachieving as they have so far. What are your thoughts on the team as you kind of just building on what we said before, not living up to their potential so far this season?
Yeah, Eckler's been taking a lot of heat I've seen from Chargers fans and fan accounts. That part of it has been like
heat nonetheless.
What did you say?
I said deserved heat. He did fumble 3 times in the Ravens game, but heat nonetheless.
That's what I'm saying. Like the fumbling issue has been a problem for the last couple of weeks, actually. So I understand, as you're saying, deserved heat. But yeah, it's been rough. They kind of, I think, as you mentioned pre-show, they honestly could have beat the Ravens in this game if they took care of the football a little bit better and executed a little bit better in key moments, because they had 4 turnovers between the 1 interception from Herbert and then 3 fumbles, 1 from Herbert, 1 from Eckler, 1 from Keenan. So that was a game that they could have won against a Super Bowl contender, but
defense held on for as long as it could. Like the Ravens weren't separating themselves on offense.
Right,
it was like 13-3 for a long while, and they kept having the ball in their hands to close the gap and win and do it. So the Ravens finally found a way to separate in the end, and it was what it was. But yeah, that game could have been there.
Yeah, but the heat, as you said, has been deserved for some of these key guys who haven't been showing up. And when you're asking for the big money like Eckler was in the offseason and getting paid the big money like Herbert was in the offseason, there's more expected of you. That's just what comes with it. So it's understandable.
For sure. So we'll see how things go with it. Also, on top of that, we talked about a whole bunch that's been going back to where we started with the head coaches here. A lot of talks about Staley and how he has failed to bring the most out of this Chargers team so far. How he has mismanaged a lot of games and blown a lot of opportunities that could have been there, as we kind of alluded to with the Ravens game. And folks have been frustrated with him for some time. On the flip side, folks have been tired of Belichick with his overmanagement, it seems, of the Patriots roster, how he's missed on quite a few draft picks and things of that nature. And now that team is not nearly close to what it could have been had they got right a few picks that were available to them in the past. And yeah, folks are ready to turn over a new leaf and move on to a new era in New England, and that would make Belichick open to moving somewhere else. And back to here, they think the Chargers could be a nice fit for him. Would you want to see them? Would you want to see Belichick potentially be the next Chargers head coach if Staley doesn't work out this season?
Yeah, it just doesn't feel quite right having this conversation without our boy Matt on here to defend his Patriots.
Matt or JP is a Chargers fan. Either one of them
sure,
add to that.
Sure. I feel like this is actually like, I don't remember if this was rumored at all, but we had a conversation earlier this season where we talked about Belichick, a guy like Belichick being.
I think preseason we said, you're like, hey, Belichick, go get it.
Right.
Seen it. So
like,
really want to pull the trigger on that. We're ready to go. So
yeah, well, like we kind of saw the potential fit there because as we talked about with the Chargers, it feels like they need a head coach who has a track record of winning, record of winning close games, and a track record of winning in the playoffs, which Staley doesn't. Anthony Lynn didn't, obviously. But Belichick clearly does. Like, he's been a part of a major dynasty in the league. And this is a guy that you kind of finally would have an adult in the room, as people like to say at times, because it seems like Staley isn't that for this Chargers team.
Right.
Doesn't even seem like he fully has the respect of all the guys at times. Like we've brought up the Eckler comments at times where he's kind of throwing him under the bus low key. But yeah, I think Belichick, in terms of his resume, but also just what his strengths versus weaknesses are. Like, as an offensive mind, he's not really there, but they have Kellen Moore there already, who has shown that he can put together a good scheme for this offense here and in Dallas. But Belichick thrives in identifying defensive talent and putting together defensive schemes, and then the special teams as well.
He used to thrive in identifying defensive talent.
True, but I feel like he hasn't struggled as much with the defensive talent lately. Like they've been hit with some injuries to key guys who he made good picks on, like Gonzalez, I believe was the corner there.
Yeah.
But offensively, as we've talked about, like most recently that 2019 draft where they whiffed on N'Keal Harry with DK Metcalf and Deebo Samuel and all they were in that draft. Like he's whiffed that trying to get those offensive stars, but they've been able to find defensive gems for sure. And he knows how to scheme up a defense. So I think the fit would work perfectly there in LA. It makes almost too much sense to where the Chargers probably wouldn't pull the trigger on that. And he's so tied to New England, it would be hard for me to see him leaving there too, and just not retiring as a New England Patriot.
That's the part I was going to go to as well. Like I like, as much as fans continue to speculate and see all the matches and how it could work, trying to at least somewhat, of course, from what fans do, you can't fully do it to any grand degree, but somewhere enter yourself into Belichick's shoes. You've been in New England for 20 plus years. You just established yourself as a legend here. You built it up to as grandly as you can. And though you hit your rough patches, like this is just who this has become his team essentially. Like he doesn't want to know anything else, it seems. So as much as it's a tough time right now, it's almost like Pop in San Antonio. Like you had that rough period post Tim Duncan and Kawhi and all those guys, and now you're gonna go through your rough phases, and so you can find a Wemby or somebody you can turn it around again with and get that spark rebuilt with. So he's still looking for that. But yeah, we'll see. Because he's not top dog over there. We know Bob Kraft definitely has a lot to say, and he could get to a point where he's like, I want another ring. We saw that Tom went left and won. We want to have another ring here. It's been too long since we last had one, and we got to find someone that can get the lead there and get the job done for us. So we'll see how it plays out. But yeah, the Chargers, I would entertain if they can.
That's one thing I forgot to note too. Like they have the top 10 QB already in Justin Herbert. Like they have a semi-proven guy, like not proven in the playoffs, but he's got the regular season statistics to back up that he's a really solid QB. So you have that already. You don't have to figure it out with a talented rookie that might fall into your lap in the draft this year, but it's still going to be a rookie quarterback nonetheless who's going to take his lumps. So being able to get your Brady light in Justin Herbert in LA would probably be intriguing to a guy like Belichick if you're looking to make that last playoff push, Super Bowl run kind of thing.
He whiffed on drafting the next Brady, but he sure can go and find another one somewhere else that's already in the league.
Right.
So coming to LA and making the most of Justin Herbert, who everybody says he's not the problem, and if the right coach comes in, can turn it around. If Go sees that and can be the answer, we're all for it, and we'll see if that rings true. So yeah, very, very exciting things coming up. As we mentioned, the game obviously we talked about a couple of times. Just to be clear, we'll have our quick pick also, but for the segment also, just a clear pick for this game, Chargers Patriots. How you have that going?
Yeah, I think Chargers win it. Maybe not a blowout as we think it should be, but I think they win it. Maybe by a score, 10 points or so, maybe.
Got it. Yeah, I agree with that as well. Definitely want to see this team continue to turn things around. You talk about how bad the Patriots are at 2-9. We're not much better at 4-7. We're only a couple of games ahead of them. So you got to continue to separate the gap, not only from the bad teams, but inserting themselves into the upper echelon as folks continue to believe that they are. And we see the potential of, but they just haven't quite got there yet. So yeah, exciting times for the Chargers ahead, and we'll see what moves they decide to make as things go along. So that is it on that side. Definitely let us know what you guys think about y'all in the comments. Continue to show love to us on all platforms. Again, appreciate y'all following LA Sports Report. A lot of good stuff continue to go on there. And that is it on that side of LA.